Going over to Abhishek Balla, who's currently at the Ambala airbase. Abhishek, we do know, like you said, a lot of commotion already, a lot of activity rather, right outside the airbase and even inside. We understand that the formal induction ceremony was going to happen in due time, not as of today. Today, it's only going to be landing. The pilots are going to be sensitized on the nuances of this fighter aircraft.
That's right. The touchdown will happen today. The Rafale will be here in Ambala today, but as far as a formal ceremony is concerned, that will happen sometime in mid-August. But obviously, today is the big day because from today is when the Rafale will start functioning. The pilots will start functioning of the 17 Golden Arrow squadron. And also, not to forget, you know, this historical significance of Ambala. It's the oldest airbase in the country, 100 years old. It started operations back in 1919 with the Royal Air Force of the British. And since then, it has seen a lot of action. In fact, in 1965 and then in 1971, this was one of the Indian air bases that the Pakistanis targeted because it was strategically very important. And it still remains a very important airbase strategically. The location of Ambala makes it of immense strategic importance. Air operations can be launched from here on the western border as well as on the northern borders because the distance is not that far. And especially with Rafale that has the Meteor missile which has a range of 160 to 170 kilometers. It's very clear that if the Rafale flies from here, it can launch operations either on the west, which is Pakistan, or the northern borders, which is China.
Right. Abhishek, do stay with us. Of course, what's interesting is India Today's Cheif was possibly the first in the country to fly the Rafale jet back in 2011. And now, even as the countdown for India's Rafale jets have begun, Cheif, one among the first Indian journalists to have flown the aircraft almost a decade ago in Bengaluru. Let's take a look at his tour.
Roaring, ready, and all set for the Indian Air Force. This week, the Rafale stretches its wings for the first time under the auspices of its new masters, pilots of the Indian Air Force. And as a whole generation of Indian aviators get set to operate one of the most advanced combat jets in production today, India Today takes you where nobody else has managed to, directly into the Rafale's cockpit and into the air. Flavor of the season here at Aero India at Yelahanka is definitely the Indian Air Force's medium multi-role combat aircraft competition. We here at Headlines today have been invited to test fly what is perhaps the lowest profile contender in what we're calling the mother of all deals. This is the Rafale. That's right, we aren't kidding, we're talking literally. Long before the current crop of Indian pilots who'll get to fly the Rafale, India Today's Cheif, that's me, became the first Indian civilian to do a sortie in the French combat jet. In 2011, not long before the Rafale was officially selected as India's next fighter following a grueling selection process, I was invited to strap in and experience the fourth-generation French jet for myself. For the flight, I needed to get the full lowdown on the advanced jet. Flying me on this warm summer morning at the Yelahanka airbase in Bengaluru was Sebastian Dupont de Dineshin, an experienced Dassault test pilot with hundreds of hours on the Rafale jet. For this flight, I got to don a French Navy flight suit and boots, all crucial elements to the flying experience. And of course the all-important G-suit, indispensable for combat flying that involves sharp maneuvers. The Rafale is a beast of a jet, powered by twin jet engines that make it one of the most agile aircraft in the air. I got a full cockpit briefing on the aircraft, including how to operate major systems, controls, and of course the emergency ejection system in case of any catastrophe in the air. Engines on, and the growl of the Rafale on the tarmac drowns out pretty much all else. Inside the cockpit, however, with helmet on, I can hear barely a rumble. And I remain in direct communication throughout with pilot Sebastian. With full afterburners on, the Rafale roars off the tarmac and rockets into the sky at a steep angle, followed by a sharp turn to the right, demonstrating the aircraft's incredible agility. Strapped into the Rafale, we exited Bengaluru airspace to less densely populated parts of the state for a full 15-minute flight, where I was given control of the jet at 16,000 feet for a full 15 minutes, allowing me to execute all manner of maneuvers, including full loops, barrel rolls, and steep dives, followed by high-G level-out stunts. After a full demonstration of the Rafale sensor and combat systems, it was time to return to base. Every time I fly a fighter aircraft, the one thing that stays with me is just what an amazing species the fighter pilot really is. What I've had a chance to do today is basically get a very real first-hand taste of an aircraft that could well be the Indian Air Force's next warhorse, the Rafale. That this aircraft chose to come this year to Yelahanka, to Aero India, let's never forget, is symbolic of India's growing importance in the world, and that one of the most ferociously contested military aircraft acquisitions is in really its final stretch. With camera person Shivamurthy at the Yelahanka Air Force Base, Shiv Arur.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.